Hello everyone. In this very short video, I'm going to show you how to reproduce a feature that exists in some digital pianos that allows you to hear each note in its place on the stereo panorama. What do I mean by that? I mean that just like in an actual piano, an acoustic piano, the lowest notes, you hear it from your left, and the highest notes, you hear it from your right. We are trying to reproduce that using the David Smith Instruments Prophet Rev2. So, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to initialize a patch. So the first thing we want to do is to initialize a patch. We just hold the down and up transpose buttons and press hold. Now you have an initialized patch. So, we want to first create a very simple piano style patch. It consists of you just have to tweak the envelopes. First you have to lower the cutoff frequency and turn up a little bit of the envelope amount, set attack to 0, decay to about 40%, sustain to about 20% I guess, and release to a little bit more than 50%. Tweak the envelope amount just a little bit more. And just lower the sustain of the VCA a little bit, and the decay you have to it has to be similar to the low pass filter envelope. And that sounds good enough. Well, you have to keep in mind that the architecture of the Rev2 it allows you to set this parameter called pan spread. If you turn it up, you start to hear each voice starts to alternate in the panorama, the stereo panorama. But that's not really what we want to do. Just set the pan spread just a little bit, just to give it more stereo space. But what we really want to do is to set up so that if I modulate the pan, to make sure that each voice will be in a fixed position in the panorama space. To do that, you have to press Mix Parameters and go all the way towards the parameter called Pan Mod Mode. You change it from alternate to fixed. That way, every time you select the pan as a destination of a modulation, it will modulate each voice individually and it will make sure that each voice has its own place in the panorama, the stereo panorama. So, what do we do now? What we want is to modulate the pen with the key number of or the note number, so that if I play a low note, it will be on the right, and if I play the high note, it will be on your left. Oh, sorry, I mixed that up. So if I play a low note, it will be on your left, and if I play a high note, it will be on your right. So you have to first hold the source modulation button and press 3 times any key, any note key. It will show up as note now or note number as a source. Then you hold destination and tweak the pen parameter. It will show pen there. And then you just turn up the amount to 127. But there's something weird going on. As you can hear, it seems like every note is going to your right. Why is that? Oh, that happens because the architecture of the Rev2 makes it so that every modulation added to a parameter will be literally adding that amount to the parameter. So technically the pen without any modulation, it's always on 0, unless you turn on the pen spread, for example. But if you turn down the pen spread, it will be always on 0. So once you set the note number as a source to your destination pen, it will add the amount of that note, in the case 0 for the lowest note and 127 for the highest note, to the pen. That way, if you press the lowest note, it will add 0, so it will be in the middle, which you can really hear it because it's too low a note. But if you press the highest note, it will be all the way to the right, sorry. So what we want to do is to subtract 64 out of the default value for the pen. How can we do that? It's nifty because the Rev2 allows you to set a DC source. What is a DC source? Take the mod slot 2 and use the value knob to set the source to the last parameter. It says audio out, and then turn once to your left. It will show DC. DC means direct current. It's an analogy from electronic circuits, from analog circuits. That it's basically just a static modulation. What I mean by that is that it doesn't vary, so it doesn't change over time. So once you set the amount of that modulation to any source, that source will be added that amount, and it will never change unless you put another source to that destination. So what we want to do is to set the amount to -64 and then the destination to the pen spread. So that way the default pen will be on -64, which is a little bit to your left, and then it will add up to 127 because of the first modulation that we set up. This way the pen will go from -64 to -64 plus 127. So it will go from -64 2 plus 63. Yeah, it works quite wonderfully.